Hey everybody, this is Emily from Life Enrichment. I'm here today with a unique and unusual task, but nonetheless one that I'm very excited to share with you all. This evening, I am presenting an introduction to the Samuel Beckett absurdist play, Waiting for Godot. If you're unfamiliar with the work, I would like to speak a little about absurdism and the play itself before you view it. The absurdist movement began in Europe around World War II as a reaction to the tragic events that were taking place all over the world. It saw the rise of famous artists like Salvador Dali, playwrights like Ionesco and Beckett, and authors like Albert Camus. The movement was most common in Nazi-occupied France, as they sought to find meaning in life in a seemingly hopeless time. Philosophy and art became intertwined, and artists like the aforementioned used their ideals to practice resistance in the face of tyranny. This search for meaning is arguably best seen in Beckett's works, and is equally relevant to the events that we are witnessing today. As we see in Waiting for Godot, it is far easier to wait for purpose to appear than to seek it within ourselves. In Act 1, the character Vladimir says, "Hope deferred maketh the something sick." Who said that? He is attempting to quote Proverbs 13:12. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a desire fulfilled is a tree of life. While he tries to maintain hope about the arrival of Godot, his life cannot be fulfilled until he satisfies his own desires. Unfortunately for our characters, their only desire is to wait, and while we now wait ourselves for simpler times, we must remember the power of friendship, connection, and simple joys. To help better describe the play you're about to see, I'd like to read something from Isolde Gillespie, a PhD candidate in English and an educator at the University of Wisconsin. A shabby man named Estragon sits near a tree at dusk and struggles to remove his boot. He is soon joined by his friend Vladimir, who reminds his anxious companion that they must wait here for someone called Godot. So begins a vexing cycle in which the two debate when Godot will come, why they're waiting, and whether they're even at the right tree. From here, Waiting for Godot only gets stranger, but it's considered a play that changed the face of modern drama. Written by Samuel Beckett between 1949 and 1955, it offers a simple but stirring question: what should the characters do? Estragon says, "Don't let's do anything. It's safer." Vladimir responds, "Let's wait and see what he says." Who? Godot. Good idea. Such cryptic dialogue and circular reasoning are key features of the theater of the absurd, a movement which emerged after the Second World War and found artists struggling to find meaning in devastation. The absurdists deconstructed plot, character, and language to question their meaning and share their profound uncertainty on stage. While this may sound grim, the absurd blends its hopelessness with humor. This is reflected in Beckett's unique approach to genre in Waiting for Godot, which he branded a tragic comedy in 2 acts. Tragically, the characters are locked in an existential conundrum. They wait in vain for an unknown figure to give them a sense of purpose, but their only sense of purpose comes from the act of waiting. While they wait, they sink into boredom, express religious dread, and contemplate suicide. But comically, there is a jagged humor to their predicament, which comes across in their language and movements. Their interactions are filled with bizarre wordplay, repetition and double entendres, as well as physical clowning, singing, dancing, and frantically swapping their hats. It's often unclear whether the audience is supposed to laugh or cry, or whether Beckett saw any difference between the two. Born in Dublin, Beckett studied English, French, and Italian before moving to Paris, where he spent most of his life writing theater, poetry, and prose. While Beckett had a lifelong love of language, he also made space for silence by incorporating gaps, pauses, and moments of emptiness into his work. This was a key feature of his trademark uneven tempo and black humor, which became popular throughout the theater of the absurd. He also cultivated a mysterious persona and refused to confirm or deny any speculations about the meaning of his work. This kept audiences guessing, increasing their fascination with his surreal worlds and enigmatic characters. The lack of any clear meaning makes Waiting for Godot endlessly open to interpretation. Critics have offered countless readings of the play, resulting in a cycle of ambiguity and speculation that mirrors the plot of the drama itself. It's been read as an allegory of the Cold War, the French Resistance, and even Britain's colonization of Ireland. The dynamic of the two protagonists has also sparked intense debate. They've been read as survivors of the apocalypse, an aging couple, two impotent friends, and even as personifications of Freud's ego and id. Famously, Beckett said the only thing he could be sure of was that Vladimir and Estragon both wear bowler hats. Like the critical speculation and maddening plot, their language often goes in circles as the two bicker and banter, lose their train of thought, and pick up right where they left off. Vladimir says, "We could start all over again, perhaps." Estragon says, "That should be easy." It's the start that's difficult. You can start from anything. Yes, but you have to decide. Beckett reminds us that, just like our daily lives, the world on stage doesn't always make sense. It can explore both reality and illusion, the familiar and the strange. And although a tidy narrative still appeals, the best theater keeps us thinking and waiting. Thanks for watching, and please enjoy Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot.